you have any advice for a couple where one of them wants to go to counseling and the other one doesn't? And whether it's man or woman on either side, but one of them totally buys in and the other one's like, that's a waste of money and time.
Well, who am I giving the advice to? The one who wants the counseling or the one who doesn't?
Well, either could be listening. So why don't you give advice to either side?
So first of all, to the couple, I would say, and I do say this to couples, sometimes people come to me premaritally. My son actually got married just a year ago.
Oh, cool.
And before he got married, I sat down with him and his fiance, had a few sessions with them, and discussed some sort of fundamental, principles that I thought could help them. And one of the things that I facilitated between the two of them was a discussion about how if either of you ever request of the other that you go see a professional for the benefit of your family, that I want you to agree here and now, I'd like you to consider agreeing here and now that you are ready to go. There's no such thing as saying no to that. You have to. You have to agree. And of course, my son had heard this for many, many years. So he was, on board. And she was on board too. They agreed, okay, if any time in the future, either of us ever requests, the other will comply. I want you to know that if she had hesitated or disagreed with that, I would have encouraged him to call off the wedding. Not that he ever would have, not that she, I had no doubt that she would agree. She's an amazing woman. But I say to couples that are in the process of getting married, ask that question to your fiance. Get a commitment now that if you ever want to speak to somebody in the future, that they will go. And if they hesitate or don't agree, run. Don't talk, run. Because it's a sign of arrogance.
Yeah.
And arrogance destroys relationships.
And for those who've already said yes?
Those that said, yes, I'll go to counseling?
No, meaning like
they said
those
yes.
who've already said, I do.
Now they said, I do. And now they're dealing with a spouse who won't go.
Yeah.
So what would be my advice to them? It goes back to the whole discussion we had about the culture in a marriage and the change that we can make that will influence their change and influence that culture. Mm-hmm. You can't force somebody to go. Unfortunately, it would be a sign that you're dealing with somebody who is arrogant. You're dealing with somebody who is not open to wisdom and information. You're dealing with somebody who's scared to change or who doesn't want to change. It's a problem. It's a problem.
Yeah. But your advice would be, I'm guessing, you go. Like if your partner won't go, then at least you go.
Absolutely, 100%. For the reasons we discussed before, you want to try to, and this, by the way, I have in the Marriage Fitness Telebootcamp, I have a duo track for couples that do it together and a Lone Ranger track for exactly what you're describing.
Yeah.
A Lone Ranger track for people who are dealing with an obstinate spouse that refuses to go. And there we teach principles and practices that you can employ unilaterally without your spouse's cooperation that will influence them and your marriage.
Yep.
And so what you want your spouse to go to counseling because you want certain change to occur in your marriage and you're thinking you need your spouse in order for that change to occur. Now it's true, it would be better if your spouse were on board. The change would be more likely to happen and happen faster. But we don't appreciate the impact that we can have on our marriage through our own unilateral efforts.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's what I would say to the person who's dealing with that obstinate spouse is forget trying to convince them to go. Do what you can do to influence the marital culture and change the marriage. And there's probably a lot more than you can do than you realize.